Today we're going to dive into a topic that really connects our day-to-day routine to our deepest beliefs. For a lot of people, food is just fuel, right? Or maybe it's about flavor. But for the set-apart people of Elohim, every single meal can be a really profound spiritual act.
So let's just start with this question right here. Is your dinner plate a sanctuary or a battlefield? It's a pretty powerful thought, isn't it? Because in our walk of faith, what we choose to eat really does become a testament of our loyalty to Elohim.
All right, let's jump into our first section, the sacred table. This really gets to the very heart of why any of this matters. See, for Torah-observant followers of Yeshua, our bodies are temples, and because of that, what we put in them isn't just a physical choice, it's truly a matter of spiritual life and death.
Okay, so the core principle, the foundation for all of this, is that our bodies are not our own. They were bought with a price. This is absolutely fundamental. If our bodies are temples for the Spirit of the Most High, then ignoring His dietary boundaries, His laws of kashrut, what's actually fit to eat, well, that's not just some small mistake. It's actively inviting defilement right into His sacred space.
But this isn't just about avoiding defilement. It's about actively pursuing something. In this next section, Holiness, a Matter of Life, we get to the core theological why behind these laws, and it connects directly to the very nature of Yahweh Himself.
Listen to this. This is not a suggestion. It's a direct command from Yahweh in Leviticus. Be holy, for I am holy. He's not just giving us a list of rules to follow. He is calling us to actually reflect His own character. Our separation, our holiness, it begins with tangible things, like what we choose to eat.
And to really get the weight of this command, we have to understand the language Yahweh uses. The word is abomination, or sheqets in Hebrew. Now this isn't just unclean or not so good for you. This means something detestable, loathsome, and completely impure in His sight. It's an incredibly powerful word.
So here's where it all clicks. When we eat something that Yahweh calls sheqets, detestable, we are literally taking that detestable thing and making it a part of our physical bodies, a part of His temple. It goes from being something outside of us to an internal reality. And that is a direct affront to the call to be holy.
And make no mistake, these aren't small issues with minor consequences. The prophet Isaiah gives a really sobering warning, directly from Yahweh. He lists those eating swine's flesh, the abomination, and the mouse, and declares they shall come to an end together. This frames the dietary laws not as some burden, but as life-preserving instructions.
So this brings us to what is probably the biggest, most common question in this entire conversation. Did Yahshua change the law? Let's just tackle this head on. The core understanding has to be that Yahshua, as the Word of Elohim made flesh, would never, ever contradict the Father's established command.
Okay, let's start with Mark chapter 7. People pull this one out all the time to say all foods are now clean, but the context is absolutely crucial. Yahshua was confronting the Pharisees about their man-made traditions of ritual hand-washing. He was not, in any way, redefining the divinely given list of what is and isn't food. To any Israelite listening, pork was never even in the category of food to begin with.
And then, of course, there's the other big one, Peter's vision in Acts 10. But again, context is everything. How do we know the vision was a metaphor? Well, because Peter himself tells us the interpretation. Just a few verses later, he says, Elohim has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. See, the vision was about people, not pork. It was the divine green light to finally bring the gospel to the Gentiles.
So the takeaway from this section is really clear. Yahshua is our perfect example. He lived a life of complete, total obedience to the Torah. He never ate pork or shellfish. So to truly follow Him, to walk as He walked, means living in that exact same submission to the boundaries that the Father established.
Okay, so we've covered the why from a holiness perspective, but check this out. There's another incredible layer to all of this. In our next section, the Creator's wise design, we're going to see that Elohim wasn't just giving spiritual commands. He was also acting as the master biologist.
A really great way to think about this is to see these unclean animals as Yahweh's janitorial staff. Seriously, each one has a critical job in the ecosystem. Swine, they're the scavengers on land. Shellfish are literally the ocean's vacuum cleaners filtering all the decomposing gunk. Birds of prey, they clean up carrion. Their job is to clean our world. They were never designed to be clean food for us.
And that brings us to the really logical conclusion. When we eat these creatures, we are essentially eating the garbage truck.
We ingest the very toxins, the parasites, the waste they were specifically designed to process and remove from our world. In His incredible mercy, Yahweh's laws are protecting us from harming ourselves. So, we've covered the theological reasons, the biological reasons, but how do we actually live this out? Let's get really practical in our final section, your daily act of worship, where we'll focus on turning all this knowledge into action.
Step 1 is the pantry audit. This is about physically cleansing your home, going through and removing anything that Yahweh calls an abomination. It also means you're going to become a vigilant label reader, because I'm telling you, unclean ingredients can be hidden absolutely everywhere.
And speaking of hidden ingredients, here are some of the usual suspects to watch out for. Gelatin, so often it comes from pigs, so you have to look for kosher or beef-based types. Lard, which is pig fat, it shows up in a surprising number of baked goods. And even something that sounds innocent like confectioner's glaze can be derived from insects. Staying vigilant really takes diligence.
And dining out, well, that presents its own unique challenges, and you've got to be proactive. Look for kosher-certified restaurants if you can. And don't ever be afraid to ask about cross-contamination. Like, is your food cooked on the same grill as bacon or shrimp? And just remember the golden rule. When in doubt, it is always, always better to abstain. Now, I know this can all start to sound very restrictive, but let's reframe it. Instead of focusing on all the no's, let's focus on the yes. Let's celebrate the incredible abundance Yahweh has provided. All the delicious fruits, vegetables, grains, beef, lamb, chicken, and all the fish with fins and scales. This is not a diet of deprivation. It is truly a life-giving menu.
Ultimately, this discipline becomes this powerful form of worship and witness. I mean, think about it. When you politely decline something at a gathering because it's unclean, it often opens a door for conversation. It's a quiet but really powerful statement that your faith isn't just a weekend hobby. It's a total life and death commitment to your King. So, to sum this all up, let's land on this one central thought. The dietary laws are not a burden. They are a hedge of protection. They are a gift from a loving Father who wants to protect His children both spiritually and physically, and call them into His own holiness. And so, we'll leave you with this final, reflective question to really consider in your own walk as we all wait for Yahshua's return. How has removing abominations from your table changed your perspective on the holiness of Yahweh? It's a profound thought. Thank you for exploring it with us today.